Welcome to our video on July 2020 astrology forecast. Saturn rules Capricorn and enters into the sign of the goat on the 1st of the month in a retrograde station. This ingress is representative of the archetype of the father, who takes on a large portion of responsibility for those people in his care and in his charge. This is very similar to the Greek god Atlas, and also similar to Moses coming down off of the mountain to give his people the 10 Commandments, also the Archangel Cassiel for Saturn, and also the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, decreeing her 42 laws to her people. Now, also the planet Mercury, symbolized by the Archangel Raphael, and the Egyptian god Thoth, turns direct on the 12th of the month while traveling through the sign of Cancer, the crab. And this is going to cause people to become very, very straightforward, very direct, because turning direct on the 12th. Again, in the sign of Cancer, the crab, they're going to be emotionally suspicious, but they're going to be blunt and direct about it, especially about retribution, and will want retribution when they feel slighted or if they feel insulted. So understand that around the 12th of July. Now then, soul symbolized by the Archangel Michael and the Egyptian god Ra, also the vegetation god, another form of sun god Osiris, ingresses into Leo. So the sun ingresses into Leo on the 22nd, with the sun being ruler of Leo, the lion. And that's going to bring charisma, and it's also going to bring purpose, splendor, and potency. And those things will really fill the air with a lot of success and a lot of potency regarding charm and regarding being able to be charismatic. So remember, Leo is air of fire. So that's going to really fill the air. Okay, now with these astrology events taking place during the recent announcements from the CDC about a new, mutated, and more contagious form of coronavirus infecting numerous individuals, people will only return to their normal duties if strict regulations are put into place at workstations, also at stores and at schools. If people feel that the measures taken are not in their best interest and are not safe enough, then the burden of returning to normal activities will seem too heavy for them, and they will resist. So understand that when it comes to coronavirus, this Saturn in Capricorn aspect is going to have this effect of people wanting everything to be strict and safe, and it's all about laws, like the 42 laws of the goddess Ma'at. So people are going to resist if they don't feel they're being taken properly care of, or that they're not being safeguarded properly. So understand that if you are someone who's leading a lot of people, or an employer, or that kind of thing, or a manager. Now we're going to give you all the important planetary aspects. We're going to give you the ingresses, and we're going to give you the archangels also. And this month we're going to be giving you the Egyptian gods and goddesses because of the July 4th. We have a video for July 4th, so make sure you watch that. But because of our theme of the helical rising of the star Sirius, we're making an Egyptian theme this month. And also we're going to give you an astrology chart, and for the planetary aspects, several of them, the horoscope houses, station changes, and the Zodiac angels, and a lot more than that coming up next. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Now, regarding our qualifications, the Astrology Angel magic, which we teach, should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Now, there's also going to be, in July of 2020, a penumbral lunar eclipse in Capricorn. So a lot going on in Capricorn, affecting social status, and fame happening at 4:30 a.m. on the 5th of July, and a full moon on the exact same day, also in the sign of the Goat at 4:44 a.m., and that's Universal Time Coordinated. That's using tropical astrology. And the healing musical note in the ancient Western arrangement for Capricorn is G. It's the note of G, and we're going to play that for you now. And that's for Capricorn. Also, there on the 20th of July, there's a new moon in the sign of Cancer the Crab at 5:33 p.m., also UTC and using tropical astrology. The healing musical note in the ancient Western way for Cancer, the sign of Cancer the Crab, is also G. So these are the healing frequencies for the angelic frequencies and the frequencies of the Egyptian angels and gods and goddesses. Now, July's full moon is called Mead Moon by Wiccans. Now, mead is like a drink that's an alcoholic beverage, and mead is sort of got honey in it also, so it's sweet. And it's something that usually is at Wiccan circles. You've heard of cakes and ale, would have often mead and some kind of bread or cakes or something like that. So it's a very important full moon for Wiccans. So again, July's full moon, Mead moon, and also remember there's a lunar eclipse on the same day as a full moon in Capricorn on the 5th of July. And now neo-pagans call this moon, they call it a rose moon, okay, this full lunar phase. And colonial Americans call this summer moon, and Algonquins name this buck moon. Now, July's bright moon is a month when the season of summertime flourishes in the northern hemisphere. And that is a time when Wiccans, again, they make drinks made of mead. Neo-pagans find their roses are blooming, blossoming. Colonial Americans are in full summertime mode. And Algonquins notice that the antlers on the bucks of the forest have grown to maturity. So we've made a video and an astrology chart for Independence Day on July 4th, and the occult significance and importance of that date, having to do with the heliacal rising of the star Sirius. Now, my daughter asked me about it because my granddaughter heard something about Egypt and the dog star Sirius, which is symbolized by the Egyptian goddess Sopdet. She's an Egyptian goddess with a star above her head, and that's for Sirius. Or the Egyptian god Anubis, the jackal-headed god Anubis, for the dog star Sirius. He also symbolizes that. Okay? And so everyone, please watch the video on the July 4th, because we talk all about the heliacal rising of Sirius and the significance of that for America. Because in America, it's based on the star Sirius, and it's based on the Egyptian, the flooding of the Nile. Okay, and so we have a whole video about that, so please watch that. It's a good video. It'll be important for you to watch to understand how America was formed and what it was actually based on. People think it's based on this or that religion. It's actually based on Egyptian religion, actually. Okay, now the guardian angelic forces for July 2020 include elemental archangel Uriel. That's symbolized also by the goddess Ma'at. Okay, since Capricorn the goat is a cardinal earth sign, fire of earth, and ruled by Saturn, and Ma'at stands for law and Saturnine or Saturnian frequencies. And the elemental archangel Gabriel is symbolized by the goddess Hathor in the Egyptian religion. The elemental archangel Gabriel, since Cancer the crab, is the cardinal water sign, being fire of water. So understand that these Egyptian gods and goddesses came before, and then the angels were created out of the Egyptian gods and goddesses. The angels didn't come before the Egyptians. the Egyptians came first, and then the angels were created out of that. And actually, the whole Christian religion is really a way that each person, each Christian, can become the Pharaoh and make their way to the heavens. Okay? So again, it's just so that every person can do the same thing that the Pharaoh was able to do spiritually. That's what Christianity does. What only the Pharaoh could do it in ancient Egypt, and perhaps some of his progeny. All right, now we're going to just highlight here again the full moon and the lunar eclipse, the Mead moon on the 5th in Capricorn, the penumbral lunar eclipse, and the new moon in the sign of Cancer the Crab. New moon, the sign of Cancer the Crab, and that's going to take place on the 20th of the month. The 20th of the month. All right. Now, we're going to give you the lunar phases and the planetary ingresses, the natural horoscope houses, the station changes, the planetary aspects, the elemental and planetary guardian archangels. This time we're going to do the Egyptian gods and goddesses because of the 4th of July and the heliacal rising of Sirius, and Zodiac angels associated using the universal time coordinated, and which is really basically, it's the same thing basically as Greenwich Mean Time, but that's without the daylight savings time. So UTC, universal time coordinated, is just with it doesn't have the daylight savings time, so it can always be the same, and based on what's going on in the heavens instead of us turning back our clocks and turning them forward and all that. And again, we're using tropical astrology. All right, now on July 1st, Saturn will ingress Capricorn, and again, that's why this coronavirus, the new mutations and all, why people need strict regulations for coronavirus, because people are going to feel very unsafe because of this Saturn ingress Capricorn on the 1st of July. They're going to want rules in place that they can feel very safe about and know exactly what they're supposed to do to keep them safe. So understand that's because of this Saturn ingress Capricorn again on the 1st, and Capricorn is akin to the natural 10th house of social standing and fame. So that's all about popularity and socioeconomic status and how to climb, like a sure-footed goat, those ladders of popularity and status, or standing in one's community or one's church or in one's career. Now, also the planetary archangel Cassiel, again Cassiel, archangel of Saturn, similar to the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, because of the Saturnine, the law-giving aspect. The 42 laws of Ma'at is where the 10 Commandments came from. If you read the 42 laws of Ma'at, you will find out that is actually where they got the 10 Commandments from. Okay, and so Cassiel, or Ma'at, visits the abode of Zodiac Angel Hanael of Capricorn. So we have Saturn, Ma'at, and Capricorn, Hanael, or Cassiel and Hanael. Now on July 5th, again, we have the full moon. Here we have on the 5th the penumbral lunar eclipse and the full moon in the sign of Capricorn, the goat here, and which is analogous to the natural 10th house of social standing and fame. Now the planetary archangel Gabriel, who's also similar to the goddess Hathor, and also you can also use Anubis, although Anubis really is for, Anubis symbolizes the moon, but also mostly symbolizes the dog star Canis Major or Sirius. Okay, so we have the archangel Gabriel, or Hathor, visits the dwelling of Zodiac Angel Hanael of Capricorn, and the elemental archangel for Capricorn is guardian angel Uriel, earth angel Uriel, again, who is similar to Ma'at, because Saturn and the earth have a lot of, it's about it's a grounding and has a lot of the earthly qualities. You can use Ma'at to preside over all of the earth signs, along with the Archangel Uriel. All right. Now remember, Capricorn is all about the 10th house aspects of social standing and fame, popularity. Okay. Capricorn Hanael. And that's when on the eclipse. We also have Gabriel, because the lunar aspect, Gabriel. And we have Hathor. You can use Anubis. And Uriel and Ma'at also coincide and correspond. Now, again, July's full moon is called Mead Moon by Wiccans, Neo-Pagans, Rose Moon, and Colonial Americans, Summer Moon, and for the Algonquins, it is Buck Moon, and the penumbra lunar eclipse. And that is on the 5th, and that is in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn. All right. Now, on July 20th, we have a new moon, and a new moon is going to be in the sign of Cancer, the crab, and that's similar to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family. And that's on the 20th, the new moon. And the planetary archangel Gabriel, similar to Hathor, visits the habitation of Zodiac angel Muriel of the sign of Cancer, the crab. Now, the elemental archangel for Cancer is the guardian angel Gabriel, also associated with Hathor or Anubis, who presides over all the water signs. So you have the moon and a water sign, which Gabriel or Hathor will suffice. Now, some people think that that's an Isis, and some people associate it with Isis, but Isis usually is standing, and Isis usually is wearing like a throne on her head, or sometimes like a vulture crown. See, Hathor is the one usually has the bull's horns with the sun in it. Okay, so there's a few similarities with some of these, but that will suffice for now. Now, July 22nd, 2020, the sun ingress into Leo the lion, which is akin to the natural 5th house of children and creativity, and the planetary Archangel Michael, who was associated with the sun god Ra, or the vegetation sun god of Osiris, visits the abode of Zodiac angel Virtuel of Leo the lion. Okay, so Archangel Michael corresponds with Ra or Osiris. These are sort of different aspects of the sun god, because the sun rises and sets, and Osiris is a vegetation god who also rules over the underworld, and then he's a god that rises and is slain, very much like Christ. He's the precursor for Christ. He's very similar to Jesus Christ, okay, in being a vegetation god, and and that's all about when the people make wine. Thus, the Wiccans call it Mead Moon. See, it's all about the time of the year in the northern hemisphere. Now, July 12th, 2020, Mercury turns direct while transiting through the sign of Cancer, the crab. To remember, Mercury is associated with the god Thoth and also the archangel Raphael. And while transiting through the sign of Cancer, remember, on the 12th, Mercury directs. So if people feel suspicious and they feel that they want retribution, they're going to be very upfront about it. They're going to be in your face about it. They're going to be very direct about it, because it's going to go direct. Because Cancer, the crab, has a divine tone of I feel. Okay, so be expecting difficult situations to clear up more due to more frank and straightforward messaging, causing sympathy and lucidity for all parties involved. So things will get cleared up. If you're not sure how somebody feels about something, they'll tell you when Mercury goes direct in the sign of Cancer on the 12th of July. Now, regarding the planetary aspects, we're going to show you some of those now. And we have beginning on July 1st. July 1st. Yes, on July 1st, we're going to bring it up a little closer for you here so you can see it a little bit better. On July 1st, 2020, we have the sun in Cancer. The sun in Cancer, conjunct Mercury retrograde in Cancer. And that formula will cause close relationships with family and friends, will calm nerves and tranquilize everybody's mood, while peculiar communications and strange messaging ensues. So people are going to send strange messages on July 1st, and peculiar communications, or communicates. And so, but family and friends will calm nerves when people send you strange or weird messages. So understand that. Also on the 1st, the Sun in Cancer on the green line is going to be sextile Uranus in Taurus. And that formula is going to cause tried and true spiritual contacts with dearly departed ancestors, will benefit efforts to secure accurate information. Okay, accurate information. And you'll be able to see these on our Facebook blog, Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel on Facebook. You will see these up nice, close, and personal, so you can see everything real clear. And for the blog about the text that we're saying here, you can go to Readings by Rosemary on Facebook, and the blog will be written there for you. Okay, now, and we're going to put those in the description box. Okay? All right. Now, on July 8th, that we have here from the 8th to the 12th on this chart, we have the Mercury retrograde in Cancer square Mars in Aries. So Mercury retrograde in Cancer on the red line square Mars in Aries, and Mars rules Aries, so that's very strong. Now it'll cause bizarre, clandestine, or secretive sort of messages from hidden rivals or hidden competitors or opponents. Creates rashness and trepidation amid opponents. So secret messages will make rivals anxious. Okay? So understand there's going to be a lot of kind of people trying to make people nervous by kind of doing sneaky things, that kind of thing. Okay. Now on July 12, 2020, Sun in Cancer here. Try Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the blue line. On the blue line we have Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces the fish, will cause nepotism. Greatly benefits the fate of distant, otherworldly type individuals. So nepotism is when people help their families or their people or their tribe or that kind of thing, and that will greatly help the fate of distant people who are sort of spiritual or otherworldly types, who are into maybe ancient aliens or abduction theories or that kind of alien civilizations, that kind of thing, or other dimensional types of, or Kabbalah is all about other dimensions, that kind of thing. And next we're going to go to July 15th. So we're going to get the chart for you here for July 15th. All right, that's up here. Yes. Okay. Now for July 15th, we have the Sun in Cancer here is going to be opposing Pluto retrograde in Capricorn on the red line there. That's on the 15th of July. And on the 20th of July, this goes to the 20th to the 22nd. And so on July 20th, 2020, Sun in Cancer, and it's here is going to oppose Saturn retrograde in Capricorn here on the dark red line. So there's an opposition there. And that will cause tribal peer pressure to grow amongst nonconformist groups to thwart what they consider to be over-regulatory draconian doctrines of ancient and well-established systems and institutions. So tribal peer pressure. So people amongst their own group, whether it's political or religious or whatever it is, or racial, whatever it is, or political or spiritual, amongst nonconformist groups who don't want to conform, who want to be anarchists or have rebellion, it will cause they'll cause each other, the nonconformists within their own group, they're going to want to try to thwart what they consider to be over-regulatory, draconian doctrines of ancient and well-established systems and institutions. So they're going to go, like anarchists against, some kind of law-abiding institution, that kind of thing. I'm not judging it, I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. Okay, we're not judging, we're just telling you what's going on. Now, on the 22nd, we have Mercury direct in Cancer here. Mercury's direct now on the 22nd. That's going to be sextile Uranus in Taurus on the green line here. That will create oddly entertaining presentations, and they will prove beneficial to people searching for a way to retain precise, detailed information. So the more odd the entertainment, the better it will be on the 22nd, because it will benefit people who want to remember, because the more odd something is, or the more funny it is, or the more bizarre it is, the more you're going to remember it. It's a teaching tool to have something bizarre or odd or funny, or just to be bizarre in any way. It makes things easier to remember. That's actually a memory technique. You can use odd pictures or bizarre pictures to remember certain things. So, if you've taken some memory courses, that's what they teach. Okay. Now, on the 27th, I'm going to have this chart here. Okay. On the 27th, and we're utilizing this one here. And it goes to it's only for the 27th. For the 27th, we have Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn here. And that's going to be sextile on the green line, Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces, the fish. And that's going to cause a situation when self-regulation is required. Self-discipline, self-regulation, when that's required, dependable and familiar spiritual paths provide a helpful framework. So when you need self-discipline and self-regulation, and you must have that when that's necessary, then going towards dependable and familiar spiritual or religious paths will provide a very helpful framework. So depend on those when you need to. There's no reason not to. You might as well utilize the systems that you have. Also on the 27th, we have Venus in the sign of Gemini, the twins, square on the red line, Neptune retrograde in Pisces there. So that's going to make flirtatiously manipulative types of individuals compete with loners on gossamer spiritual paths. You're going to have very sort of upbeat, with it, cool, flirtatious, manipulative people who are very intelligent. These types of people will compete with people who are more loners and who are on more gossamer or wispy spiritual paths. There'll be a competition between them. And the loners on the gossamer spiritual paths will just sort of evaporate away. They won't really stay and fight about it, most likely. But that doesn't mean they're gone for good. So understand that. All right, now on the 27th also, we have Mercury in Cancer here. And that's going to be square Mars in Aries on the red line here. Mars in Aries. Remember, Mars rules Aries, so a very powerful competitive edge. And that's going to cause people who possess weird texting and messaging skills, who are just really good at sending weird or creepy or odd messages, and have skills in doing that, and are able to freak people out, okay, or creep people out. They're going to conflict because of the square, okay, and the red line. They're going to conflict with recklessly adventurous types of individuals. So people who like to sort of creep people out or freak people out are going to come into competition or into conflict with those who are reckless and adventurous. Okay, so that will be another competitive type of situation on the 27th of July. Now on the 30th of July, we have Mercury in Cancer here, and direct at this time, opposing on the dark red line Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn there. And that will cause strange new communicates or messages. Is going to clash against internal conflicts as new regulations restrict freedom. If we're going to have new regulations restricting our freedom because of the new mutations of coronavirus, and because of these new regulations and our freedom being restricted, the internal conflict with wanting to be safe is going to conflict with people who want to maybe send communicates that are saying that maybe you don't need it anymore, or maybe the coronavirus is all over, or maybe saying something else that will make people think that they should be able to be more free. So just understand, remember, Saturn's going to be in Capricorn, so just remember there's going to be internal conflict about it. Because people want to be free, but they also want to be safe. So those are going to be internal conflicts. Now also on the 30th, we have Mercury in the sign of Cancer. Again, remember, it's direct now. Trine on the blue line, Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces, the fish. And that will cause odd new methods of communication are going to prove to significantly boost extra and multidimensional relationships. So extra dimensional, multidimensional, you're going to be able to communicate better with other dimensions and beings in other dimensions. That's basically what that means. All right. Now for our Hebrew calendar associations, we're going to, Hebrew Zodiac is called Mazzaroth. And we're going to just tell you about the ingresses and in the Hebrew associations, because it sort of will help you when you understand that really what people's religions and those kind of things are not really that different. It's more that they're just using a different language, because actually the I Ching and all the systems of feng shui and the I Ching systems and the Tao, it's very, very, very similar to Kabbalah, and it's just a different language. And there's a book about it that I'll present to you in one of our next presentations that I have read. It's a very good book. You could get on that. Now, the sun, it's called either Hama or Shemesh. I like to use Shemesh. Ingress Leo, Ari in Hebrew. Full moon, Lavana, and the full moon, Keseh or Shabbat or Mashiach, the full moon. Ingress Capricorn, Gedi. The new moon again Lavana, and the new moon Rosh Chodesh. Ingress Cancer. Cancer is Sartan. Now this isn't the month; it's the Hebrew constellation, not the month. Okay. And Mercury is Kokav or Kokab. Ingress. There's not an ingress this month, but Mercury is Kokav. And Venus, there's not an ingress this month, but Venus is called Noga. And Mars, there's no ingress this month. Mars is called Ma'adim. And Jupiter, there's no ingress this month. Jupiter is called Zodiac in Hebrew. Saturn is called Shabbatai. And ingress Capricorn, Gedi. And Uranus is Oron in Hebrew. And there's no ingress this month. Uranus, again, Oron. And Neptune is Rahab. And there's no ingress this month. And Pluto, there's no ingress, and there's no Hebrew word. Although the Egyptian god Anubis fits the bill for that one. Okay, so Anubis can fill many slots and wear many hats. So keep in mind that achieving goals and accomplishing phenomenal success through astrology, angel magic, supernatural interventions are all possible if one knows when and whom to evoke. Magicians must also consider how various planetary and zodiacal angelic beings will interact with each other, making sure to invoke into oneself or invoke into one's sacred circle, or to evoke is to call upon potent forces of light that will extend into facets of the Magi's life predetermined by her or him for specific purposes in alignment with true will. Magic must be taken seriously since it is an ancient method of manifestation intended for practical victories over constricting forces which set our 3D reality into motion. Magic has rules just like any other science, which must be devotedly applied to practice. Magicians strive not to break natural laws, but rather to understand how Mother Nature manifests her creations so that we're able to work in tandem with her. The information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah. taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Please be sure to like and tap the bell for notifications, share, subscribe, and make friendly comments. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.